Hey all, DT Neal here, talking to you about storytelling things, writer things, genre, fantasy, horror, science fiction. Just launched Sightseer, the cyberpunk indie novel that I mentioned a few times. And that just launched yesterday. And of course, in the reward for writing is more writing. And of course, the next one comes out in August, which is one that I've worked on honestly for about 8 years. Not exclusively. I've worked on a lot of other stuff between then, but there's certainly been a number of revisions and rewrites. And that one, and I won't mention titles. I never do that before launch. It always feels, I don't know, I don't like to do that. But this one is a big book, and it's a legacy at a time. It's about 116,000 words, and it's from a time when I still wrote big books. And since then, I've disciplined myself to try to write books that top out at about 80,000 words, give or take. So this one, it's kind of it's a throwback to me for a time when I still wrote large books. And I don't have a problem with it. I like also, I like books. I like novels. And this one, even on the revisions, it didn't lend itself to winnowing it down too far. It like I said, it topped out around 116,000 words. And I don't know how I feel about that. Like it had to live that way. Science fiction stories, in my opinion, I mean, they can get up to 120,000 words because you're dealing with a lot of ideas, a lot of things. So, you can't just speed through meaningfully on a science fiction story. So I don't know. We'll see where people are. I know with attention spans being what they are and such, that longer works have more difficult times getting read and accepted. But, it's going to be that way. Since then, again, I have tried to put the ceiling at about 80,000 words for my books, which I think is enough. It's sufficient to be able to get what I need to say said, and without overburdening the reader, I guess. I don't know how if some readers are more comfortable with large size books, or if they just prefer quick reads. For a while I wrote a lot of novellas, and it was deliberately because of an acknowledgement. Well, people are busy. People, they don't have to. They want to just read something quickly. And then I got a lot of feedback on a number of my novellas where people were like, "Oh my gosh, I really like that story. I wish it was bigger. I wish there was more. Wish there was more to that story. I want to know more." And so taking that, I'm mindful of reader responses, and I thought, well, okay, if people are jonesing for more story than what I was providing with the novellas, then maybe I'll go longer into novels. And I don't have a problem with either of those formats. It's just funny for me what people say that they want versus what they actually want. I don't know where people go with that. So henceforth, what I've been doing, and I'm doing this for the last several years, is writing those what I would consider shorter novels. But for people who are used to like short stories and novellas, maybe they're really big. Maybe an 80,000 word novel is a lot. I don't know. I go with what feels right for the story, and I always know when I get to like a decent stopping point, like this is a good point to stop. There it is. So anyway, what's coming out in August will be really the last of the big books that I've written. And looking back on my catalog, it's like my Wolf Shadow trilogy. Those books are big. Those are big books. For sure, The Cursed Earth. That's a brick. That's a big book. And it just came out that way. That's just how that book evolved. And the one that's coming out in August is roughly contemporaneous to The Cursed Earth. So it was at that time when I was like, I'm going to just write the story that needs to be told. And if it's a big book, it's a big book. But again, henceforth, for me, it's weird because it's like a blast from the past for me at a time when I was writing those much larger books. And now I will be henceforth doing those shorter, quicker reads. Because again, I still hope people can. I always feel like even the big books are quick reads, in my opinion. But maybe that's just me. I don't know.